Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So we'll begin our sloka reading session with our worship and obeisances to the deities of Shishadripuram Jagannath Mandir. Baldeva Prabhu, Subhadra Maharani, Jagannath Prabhu ki jai. Gaurnatai ki jai, Panchtatva ki jai, Lord Parashurama ki jai, Lord Vaman Dev ki jai. All glories to Vaishnava devotees. Guru Garamna ki jai. Hare Krishna, we'll say our prayers. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Desitarane. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we are in chapter 2, contents of the Gita summarized, and in this Arjuna's dilemma is being removed by his guru, his friend, Lord Shri Krishna Bhagwan, and Arjuna has accepted Lord Krishna as his guru and seeking advice from Lord Krishna. Only one guru, only one person, and so this is ongoing. So we will be reading Bhagavad Gita Shloka 2.46, 46th Shloka of 2nd chapter. Yavan artha udapane sarvata samplutodake tavan sarveshu vedeshu brahmanasya vijanata. Translation. All purposes served by a small well can at once be served by a great reservoir of water. Similarly, all the purposes of the Vedas can be served to one who knows the purpose behind them. So in this, to explain, Srila Prabhupada has given an example of a well and compared it with Vedas, and that one should be well versed in the purpose, what the purpose is. So just to set the thing right, Srila Prabhupada has used this example of wells because traditionally, in the traditional Indian system, there used to be massively large population was in villages. Only two, three cities were there, prominent cities like Hastinapura, now Delhi and Dwarka, etc., where the kingdom was, and everything else was in villages. And villages had a traditional system of wells. So large population would have, they would have a separate well for bathing, separate for washing clothes, drinking water, washing dishes. So there was a well for each dedicated for each purpose. So there were many wells, and so those daily activities were done. Water related needs were solved with the different wells for different purposes. But if you compare this to a river where the water is always flowing, because it's ever flowing, so there is no contamination, and all those above mentioned purposes of washing clothes, drinking water, etc., bathing are taken care. All the needs, purposes are solved just by one river, are served by one river. So similarly, Bhagavad Gita, Lord says that Vedes cha sarver aham eva vedya, 15th chapter, 15th shloka. Lord says that the purposes of all the scriptures and Vedas is to know Krishna or God. And the Upanishads say the same thing. Tasmin tu bhagavo Vijnanate sarvam idam vigyatam bhavati. If you simply understand the Supreme Absolute, then you understand everything. So this Krishna consciousness means it includes everything, right? So whether it is karmis, jnanis, yogis, bhaktas, For karmis, it's fruitive actions. For jnanis, it's philosophical speculation. Yogis, they are interested in mystic power. That's what they're trying. Bhaktas, they're worshipping the Lord. So in this, as per Bhagavad Gita, as per Lord Krishna, worship of the Lord by the devotees, everything, all of this is included. Just like if you take $1,000,000, it will have $10 and smaller denomination like 20, 10, 5, everything is there. So similarly, in Krishna consciousness, all the above-mentioned purposes are solved. So this is why Srila Prabhupada has given this example. If you take any religion, whatever the highest conclusion it might reach, it might emphasize, it is already there in Krishna consciousness. So this Krishna consciousness is very practical. Bhagavad Gita is very practical, and it takes care of all the needs. So that is why we take to Krishna consciousness. For example, Buddhism, they say non-violence, and Krishna conscious devotees are non-violent. Christians, they love God, they talk of love of God, and we simply emphasize on men to love God. Mohammedans, they say servant of God, to render services to the Lord. And Krishna conscious devotees are 24 hours engaged in the service of the Lord. Yogis, samadhi, they are absorbed in samadhi, or that's what they are trying for. They are thinking of the Supreme. We are always absorbed, devotees are always absorbed in the thought of Krishna. So you take any religion, any process, like the well, it's taken care by the river of Krishna consciousness. It's overflooded, in fact. So this is what Srila Prabhupada is trying to emphasize. So the thing is, we are pure soul, we are pure consciousness, and naturally we are aloof from material contamination. But due to our coming exposure to association with material atmosphere, material nature, we have accumulated a thick layer of dust on our mind. So we need to clear this dust, and once this dust is cleared from the mind, we can see for ourselves what we are. So constitutional position of the constitutional position of oneself, ourself, yourself, myself, the soul, which is pure. So this pure soul is different, distinct from the material body. So all this is addressed by Bhagavad Gita, by Bhakti Yoga. So presence of consciousness, we can understand that this constitution of the soul by the presence of consciousness, right? And what is that? So Lord Krishna says, Avinashi tu tad vidhi yena sarvam idam tatam. You can understand who you are, what you are. You are present all over the body. And what is that? And how? If you pinch yourself anywhere on the body, so Srila Prabhupada gives this wonderful example. You feel some pain, no matter where you pinch, right? So, and this feeling of pain will be stopped as soon as the consciousness is taken away from the body, from this body. So a dead body has no consciousness, and it does not feel any kind of pain, even if it is chopped, because the consciousness from that body is gone. So therefore, it is not difficult for anybody to understand that, you know, I'm this consciousness, I'm not this material body. In any part of the civilized world or across the world, there are different scriptures. Like so earlier we talked about, you know, example of Buddhism and bhakti yogis and mystics followers and impersonalists or Mohammedans or Christians, anybody. So there are different scriptures across the world through the civilized society. But Lord Krishna says that this Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all scripture, and the essence of all scripture is to understand my constitutional position. And what is my constitutional position? And we just gave example of we realize, you know, by the presence of the soul within the body. So the example of that rivers and comparison with other scriptures or what people across the world follow, we should not get stuck in the rituals or the formulas of the rituals, right? Maybe in the preliminary stages we require such formulas of those religious scriptures, but we must know that the whole idea of all these scriptures, the intent is targeted to understand my real position, right? Brahmanasya Vijanata, one who knows this constitution of the soul, he is called Brahmana, because the soul is Brahman. Soul is not matter. So we need to understand soul is Brahman and it is not matter. One who understands the constitution of the soul, he is called Brahmana. So Brahmana does not mean a particular class or person born in a particular country. A Brahmana means who knows the position of the soul or the constitution of the soul, which we just talked about. So just like a person who is well versed in medicine, medical science, he is called a doctor because he's practicing, he's well versed, he's well conversant, he is certified. No matter whether he is born in India or whether he's born in America or whether he's black or white, whatever his religion, or so that is the qualification. He has the qualification. He is practicing. He is qualified to be called a doctor. So Brahmanical culture, similarly, Bhagavad Gita also accepts this Brahmanical culture and emphasizes on this, which means the social position in which everyone is assisted to elevate himself to the highest position of understanding. Understanding, what is that understanding? Understanding the position or the constitution of the soul. So that Brahmanical culture. So human society is not meant to be animal society. Animals, so humans can be trained, they can be taught, educated what his or her real position is. And that is that he is not this body, he is the soul. But he is pure Krishna, he is pure consciousness, he is a spirit soul. But in an animal society, whether how big the animal is, whether he's a lion, tiger, elephant, you cannot teach to that animal the constitution of the soul. Although even that animal, whether big or small, has the soul. He has the consciousness. But unfortunately, because he doesn't have that facility, the bodily facility or developed intelligence by which he can understand what he is, so that difference, there is a difference between animal and human being. So once when anybody takes birth as a human and he's in the human society, they have this opportunity to realize what he is, that he is a soul, that is his constitutional position, he has consciousness. But if humans don't understand this and they waste this facility, this opportunity as a human being, they don't understand this factual position of soul or consciousness as mentioned in the Vedas, then what is the difference between a human being and animal? He has lost that opportunity. Even animals have these ahara, eating, nidra, sleeping, bhaya, fearing, maithuna, sexual intercourse, all those things, these four principles of life, these are animals are performing it. And otherwise, if man doesn't take the opportunity of realizing what his constitutional position is, then he is wasting this human birth, right? So religion means a culture of a spirit soul. It can be different. It can be different through different scriptures, realizing it in different parts of the world. But the whole idea is to understand the spirit soul. That is what Srila Prabhupada is trying to emphasize in this shloka. That is why the comparison between rivers and the scriptures, different scriptures and different types of practitioners. But the purpose is to realize what is the constitutional position of the soul. So that is, we should not waste this opportunity and utilize this by reading Srimad Bhagavad Gita and take opportunity of this human birth. Hare Krishna. Thanks. So this is what my understanding is through this shloka. Hare Krishna. Thanks for joining.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thanks for joining.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Thank you.